Welcome back to Lost for Words with Lori. It is Monday. Wow. It is the 27th of June. It's early. Back to work after a weekend. It has been kind of chaotic around here. And as you hear, the bird is wanting to weigh in on his thoughts because that's what the bird do. I hope you all had a great weekend. Things are a little chaotic in your heroine's world, and I want to talk today about change. Change being painful, change being chaotic. You know, I've been on this journey for a long time. 8 months of podcasts, right? Um, and I'm becoming self aware. I'm evolving, I'm growing, I'm changing. And I'm understanding more about myself, and it brings awareness, and it promotes growth, and it's promoting change, and as I become self-aware, I'm learning to tolerate less toxicity and less bullshit, right? And embrace a more positive environment and joy in my life, right? And learning. And I think everybody does. We learn in life that we have people in it. They come and go, right, in our lives for a reason. There are people that we learn from, and there are people that we give wisdom to, and we're all responsible for those lessons. You know, I left my entire life behind 5 years ago to start over. I was living in a life where I needed to break generational toxicity. I made a shit ton of mistakes. My life was surrounded by problems, just like everyone else. We all have problems. And I've spent a lot of time and energy making peace and amends with myself, with people from my past, and I've trying to own those mistakes, and trying to basically seek my own redemption for those. And I sought intervention for those problems, to learn how to grow, to understand me, to unwrap my own problems, to understand what makes me tick. So that I could stop repeating all of my own self-defeating behaviors, to be better, to do better. And when Toby died, I had to challenge and question myself and start all over again. And that's not easy. And it's one day at a time. I've been very transparent about that, in all of this, in everything that I do. And when Toby died, my first gut reaction was to retreat back to all of those self-defeating, safe behaviors that I knew from my past. And I worked really fucking hard over the last 8 months to unlearn those things and not go backwards and not devolve, and not... I mean, I could have just said fuck it and burned it all to the ground, but I didn't do that. I chose a better way for me. And has it been difficult? Yeah, it's been terrifying. But it was necessary for my own growth and my own healing. And, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for therapy. I'm grateful for the people who I call my friends. I'm grateful for my support system. The people that I chose to share my journey with. And I've tried to share my wisdom and my knowledge with other people along the path. And a lot of it's fallen on deaf ears, and that's fine. It's not my responsibility. It's not my job in any of this. I chose this, and I can unchoose it as quickly as I can choose it. That's my choice. I can do whatever I want. I'm a grown adult, right? Anybody can. That's our choice. We're allowed to change our minds. How many times have you heard me say that? I took a few days off of social media, and I do that from time to time because it's good to unplug. It's good to recollect your thoughts. It's a good idea to figure out what's causing you stress or anxiety, or try to figure out what's going on and reconnect with yourself. Check in with yourself, right? And I did that. I did my shadow work. I did my homework, as my therapist calls it. Reach out to my support systems that are assisting me with my healing journey. And I thought long and hard about myself, my friendships, my words, the things that are going on with me and with the chaos and the things that are going on around me, right? because that's important. Bubba has thought about those things too, as you can hear. But each of us has a personal responsibility for ourselves. We're the captain of our own ship, right? And my ship has no crew. My ship is solo. It's a small little dinghy, right? And I sit in my boat. And some people have much larger ships and they have a crew and they're responsible for that too. But if my ship goes down, it's just me. I sink. Other people's ship goes down, then their ship, they're responsible for a crew and their people go down with them. And how we navigate those seas and storms isn't about perfection, it's about progression. If I want to get from the shore to the island, I have to row, my oars. I have to do those things. And, and there are other people who are listening, and there are people who are learning, they're growing. But there are also people who are struggling, and they're not doing so well with their oars. And they're fighting and they're suffering. For me, being a better human is about finding balance. It's about finding balance for myself. It's about being honest enough with the people around me to point out that, that they're the captain of their own ship and that they need to man their oars and weather their own storms. And if their ship sinks, or if they're about to capsize, that they need to balance their cargo, and I have my own ship too, and my cargo isn't balanced, and I'm working on figuring that out. But if I'm taking in water and I'm allowing them to fire cannonballs at me and they sink my ship, that's my problem. But if I'm telling them not to fire cannonballs at me, and I allow them to, that's toxic, and I can no longer do that. Honesty and honor and loyalty is letting people know when their ship is sinking and that they need to pay attention to their cargo. Maybe it's time to put to port and start patching those holes. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to patch my own holes and basically show people how to patch their own holes. But I'm not the shipbuilder, I'm just the messenger. But people are firing cannonballs at me, and I'm not the enemy, I'm not the enemy. We all struggle and fight with ourselves as the captains of our own ship, trying to navigate the stormy seas, right? But change is painful. Navigating the sea doesn't care. It happens, and it happens to us, and we have to dip our oars in the water and navigate those seas on our own. And we all have a personal responsibility to that. Now, I broke generational toxicity. I've made a lot of mistakes. I'll continue to make them, and I'll continue to try to learn and grow, but at what cost? It makes me a terrible human in my eyes, from my perspective, to not point out those things, to not point out to people. I feel that as an honorable captain of my own ship, that if I see a hole in somebody else's boat, that I say, hey, you're taking in water. And some people just go, oh, it's just a trickle. And that's fine. If you choose to not see the trickle in your own boat and you sink, as I'm so fond of saying, that is a you problem. But I'm still going to navigate my little boat to the island, and if your big ship sinks, I can't really do anything about that. And again, it's not my responsibility to navigate and to sail your ship, but to only help you understand that navigating the ocean is scary. It's painful. I'm still going to stand on the island and cheer you on. I'm still going to stand and be like, hey, there's plenty of resources over here on the island if you choose to navigate and steer your ship to the island and share in the bounty that's there. But I can only do so much, because if I'm ignoring my own leaks in my own holes on my ship and I sink while I'm trying to teach you how to navigate your own ship, I'm no good to anybody. I know everyone is struggling. I'm struggling. We're all struggling. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse with the buzzwords that everyone has listened to me talk about for 8 months. But it all starts with boundaries and accountability and transparency. I've been nothing but. And I see people throwing a lot of tests of loyalty and honor out there because they're afraid of change. And yeah, I get it. Change is painful. I'm scared too. I'm terrified of what's to come because the future is unknown. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to sit in my boat and just watch it fill up and sink when I'm so close, to the island that's got all of the resources and the things that will make me happy and will give me life and sustain joy. But that's what I was thinking about. That's what I've been working on. I've been doing my homework for the last few days, trying to navigate the troubled things that have been going on in my head. Try to wash your hands, people, and be good humans. I love you all.